Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. Just doing a quick little update. As you can see, we've very much surpassed the 10K allotment today. We were up over 2%. Over at one point, I was up 11,000. I was up a little bit over 11,000 at one point during the day. And as we can see, the market is very much inflating to the upside. Of course, a lot of the positions that I have held were things like ExxonMobil that were very much late to the game. As you can see, we were busy buying it down here in the low 30s, and of course now we're way up in the air, approaching $50, or excuse me, over $50, as oil production of course is slowed due to most places are just basically locked down. So of course OPEC, Russia, the United States are going to be pulling back on oil production, which of course is going to raise the price of oil per barrel. So we're seeing that moving up. And of course, again, I'm starting to hear more people's talking about Wells Fargo. And again, like I said in one of my videos way back, that when you look back at Exxon, and when you look back at Wells Fargo, from the crash of the 90s and the crash of '08, that Wells Fargo typically came back and it was going to come back very strong. And that's basically what we're witnessing. And of course, the other one that I talked about was JetBlue also had a very strong day, up 5%. And like I said, I was utilizing that time where it seemed to be channeling. I was waiting for it to come down. Took a little bit of an advantage when I bought a couple of puts back when the stock was around 15s and 16s, and then I was able to utilize that money in my small little Robinhood account, and then keep on buying it, waiting for the upside. Like I said, again, a retest of 16. The stock is going to hold below 16 until we really start to see the country open up, until we really start to see people be able to move. The narrative currently is the vaccine is not getting distributed the way it should be. There's been a lot of vaccine slowdown for whatever reason. I'm not going to get into it in this video about what I personally think, but that's the narrative. The narrative is that they're not able to distribute it. Here in New York, Cuomo, I believe, wasted something like 66% of all the vaccine doses were wasted because of the policies of who can get it, who can't get it. Doctors are going to get fined if they give it to someone who's not on the prescribed list. And then they just went and wasted 66% of all the doses here in New York that were given to them for whatever reason, because of ignorance, because of Orange Man bad, or whatever it is. They want to do everything that they can to kind of hold these people basically in perpetuity, in lockdown. Hopefully eventually people will start to wake up. We of course are not seeing that as much as we need to. With that said, most of the rise, again, like I said, was from ExxonMobil. This is not my only account. I also created another account, my Roth IRA, also. And prior to making either one of these accounts, I already had another account with Thinkorswim that I do utilize because it makes it easier for me to like put in orders, etc. And this account is also doing okay. I was actually down in the beginning of last year and had to work back the account. I was as low as I think like 12.5 and had to make back quite a bit of the money that I was down because of the crash. I didn't hold, unfortunately, the stocks that I was in. It was my foolish mistake, but I was able to make back the money and then some. So it is what it is. And of course, for those that don't know, I do swing trade and day trade via Webull. As you can see, I'm still holding some of the same positions as of yesterday. As you can see, I'm still holding a Barrick Gold, GHIV. I did buy a little bit more. A Tattoo Chef, unfortunately, it did kind of creep up pretty quickly. I was hoping it was going to have a little bit of a pullback. I'll wait and see if it does. I'm not quite sure if it is. Tattoo Chef looks like it could be breaking out to the upside. We'll be taking a look at the chart momentarily. Fuel Cell was a good opportunity to load up a little bit more. I did start buying a little bit early, as I perceived it was going to hold between 16 and 17, and I was buying a little bit low into the 16s, but I started buying pre-market way too early. But it's okay. I am positive that the stock is going to come back. It's just a little bit of pullback, and then of course, CCIV during Churchill during the day, for whatever reason, was down on news about whether or not they were going to have their merger. It seemed more like rhetoric. I only was able to grab 50 shares out. I bought my 50 shares you can see at 16.31, and I had another 50 shares to buy at 16, but unfortunately we never went that far down. Kind of seesawed throughout the day, but I didn't end up taking more because I wasn't really familiar with the play, so I just bought a little bit. I did end up taking profits on APXT. Originally yesterday I had an order. Excuse me, I had an order the other day to take shares, to take some off at 17. During the daytime we did push up, but then of course we came all the way back down, closing below 17 again. 17 being the weakness, and then of course aftermarket is where the stock is kind of making a little bit of moves. Aftermarket, we'll have to wait and see if I'm going to re-enter the stock. Hopefully we don't get this huge gap up tomorrow, which would kind of suck. But I ended up taking profits. I was long 135 shares at 15 and ended up basically covering everything at 17. And I think I covered a little bit here towards the end at like 88. And then when I look back at it, it closed at 17, but we'll have to wait and see. That's basically what I'm watching. It's basically what I'm watching for today. Again, what's it called? Fuel cell on the pullback. From my perspective, I was just basically buying everything that was in this candle right here, which is what I figured it was going to hold. As you can see, we did bounce off of 14s and then finally breaking out above 16s, and we did basically double touch at about 1650. So fuel cell has a little bit of resistance here. This is 2 times in a row. One thing I did want to talk about was APXT. Going back to APXT again, APXT during the day did closed below 17. We did come as high again, right? This is the second time where the stock has closed below the $17 mark, and again over here. This was the first time on the run up, and the volume was slightly normal. What more than likely you'll see when APXT does break out will be on a big candle volume day, like you see right here, where you'll see like these big moves to the upside. Most of the volume that is above average, like when you look back, you can see the volume is like 3 million, which is typically around the average volume. And so what I'm looking for is I want to see, maybe like a 5 million, a 4 million, 5 million, or more volume day to the upside, where it'll more than likely retest 17s and then bounce, or it'll retest somewhere in the area, and then bounces, and then bounce back up. And that's basically what I'm watching. So I sold it because it seemed very weak. Everybody seemed to be taking profits here above 17 because there was no real volume, and that was more than likely why a lot of people were kind of selling it down, or if you can go short in the stock, taking it short to see if there were actually buyers that were going to hold 17, and unfortunately there really wasn't. The stock ended up coming all the way back down. That's basically what I'll be watching. Oh, did want to take a look at TTCF. I did not take a look at the chart later today. As you can see, still holding below at the height of 27, right? So that's basically kind of where the stock has been topping out. Right, so you should be able to see that. So I would look for the exact same thing. We did have decent volume, as you can see, 4.7 mil volume, which of course is what kept the stock fairly high, but not enough to be constituted basically as a breakout. And that's basically what I think you saw over here, where you saw some good volume, right? There was looking all the way back here. Actually, yeah, where we did break out on this candlestick right here, you can see the volume was only 1.4 mil, but the average volume is almost 2.9 million, right? So even though on this candlestick right here that we're looking at, where we did breach above the 27 mark, but it was on low volume, so it just immediately got sold off. And that's basically what we're looking for. We're looking for a very strong volume days, but we want that volume to come in above 17, indicating that the buyers are now saying that this stock is worth more than $27, and that's basically all that is indicating. Currently, we're not seeing that, so TTCF is still basically holding down for now. I think that's basically going to be it. That was basically my day watching multiple accounts. Again, I have, like I said, I have my my 2 M1 Finance accounts. I have my Webull account that I typically swing and I'll swing trade or do some day trading on a rare occasion. I will add to my account, and then For this account, I did add in Baba, which I talked about yesterday. And as you can see, Baba did bounce, holding above 225. Right, so we've had quite a period of consolidation, and then now a little bit of a breakout. Volume was about normal on an up day, so more than likely, if we don't get a continuation of the same amount of volume or more volume to the upside, then we could retest those 125s. I will personally utilize that to allocate my last 1,000. I wanted to put in, I think I have about 1,500. Let me just double check. I forget how much I put into Baba so far. Yeah, so I put in already about 1750 into Baba, so I've got about another 1,000 that I want to put in. JetBlue still holding up, Play still holding up. Palantir is basically doing nothing, trading sideways. Switchback Auto, I might take that profit. If I get a little bit to the upside, I might take profits in Switchback. I didn't have too much, as you can see, but I'm up. I have what, 500 invested, or less than 500 invested. I'm up over 100. I'm fine taking that 20%, etc., just so that I can pull some of these profits out of the market, just in case we do have a bit of a downside. Which is why you see I'm holding a bit more cash. Typically, I would be, dumping this cash consistently, but I'm seeing that we could experience some sort of a pullback, a hard pullback over the next couple of weeks. You have to wait and see how the inauguration goes, as things are becoming interesting with more. For some reason, there's more military being deployed. I think it was 6,000, then 15,000. Now they're saying it's 20,000 people that are going to be at the inauguration site in terms of military. So we're gonna have to wait and see if any of this news. Last week, we had almost a million people on the jobless numbers. Again, this is week after week after week, and none of this is basically phasing the market. They're just waiting to hear. We want more stimulus, and once the stimulus train is over, because it has to come to an end at some point. The government just can't keep on printing money for the purpose of raising the stock market while hundreds of thousands of people every week are basically applying, for unemployment. At some point, all of this is going to come down onto the head of the stock market, and I don't want to be all in. I don't want to be all in, which is why I'm taking profits and sitting a bit more in cash than I normally would be. I do have other accounts. I even have a Acorns account that I made way back that I utilized just as my savings account, because you don't get nothing in a savings account, and I've got about 12,000 in that account as well, and that account is just basically like on a super safe, not really aggressive on that. It's just a set it and forget it sort of account that I've accumulated quite a bit in. Is just a little bit of a savings account. It's basically my account if something happens and I need to live off of that. If things go to shit, you never know. But in any event, this is basically what I've been doing with my portfolio. We've breached that 10K mark, right? We're almost at the 50K invested. It's probably going to take a little bit more time. As I will be allocating more and more of that money. I want to set at least 10%. My goal is 15% of my portfolio in cash. So for every little bit that I add to the account, I basically have to allocate some of that to sit in cash, just in case. And I have to do that with this account. And as you can see, I'm doing that with this account. I'm sitting a little bit more in cash. We were up 2% today. I've got about 18.6 account value. I've made back most of the losses that I've had, and then some for the account, and we're already up $1,000 for the year. We're just in the first 2 weeks of the year. But I want to be sitting a little bit more in cash, because I didn't have any cash when the market fell the first time. I really wasn't busy investing. I wasn't doing any of these things, even though I know how to. I was just, happy and content with my salary. But with everything that's going on, it's important to have multiple streams of income, whether that's this account with dividends or my Webull account where I can actively trade. As you can see, we've been slowly increasing the value of this account just through trading. I think we were at 45 and I've basically been able to move this account to 9,200. My goal, of course, the end of this month is to hopefully get that to about 10K. We will have to wait and see. But that's going to be it for this video. It's a little bit longer than I wanted. I hope you guys are having a great day. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see if we do some more of these videos during the week. Take care. God bless. Be safe.